at my first class, I try to invite everybody. If you've been able to pay down payment or not, I just give that grace period to people. So I invite everybody, whoever got in touch with me, uh, I invited you. So it could be that you're on the platform, you haven't paid, but you received the invite. It's because I offered to do that. But moving forward from Wednesday, if you haven't made any payment, you will be removed from the class. So first, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us in this class. Like I said in the information section, this is a life-changing class, and if you take it very serious, I can assure you within short period, within some few weeks, it can change your life. So good. So today we are starting. I know most of us we are not into information security or cyber security. So we are starting from the basics, some basic concepts about information security, IT security. So I just want to start from the scratch so that at least we get some foundation and we build on that, right? So one thing that I also do is that when a class starts and I'm teaching and you're not able to join on time, you call me, I can't take it. Somebody was calling me right now, I can't take it. I want to be respectful to people who are on the platform. So always try as much as possible to try to connect like 15 minutes or 10 minutes to time so that if you're having challenges, I can help you, right? Because I open the app limited by 30 minutes to time, or maybe 20 minutes to 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock in Wednesday evening. So if there's any challenge, I can help you. So very good. So let's start. And along the way, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to raise your hand to ask. Right? Don't wait. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, or maybe you can note it down. And after the class, when I finish my presentation, you can ask. Okay. So let's start with computer, right? So information security and all those stuff are about computer. So what is a computer? Right? I'll run through this quick because this is just a normal thing that we are all aware of. But I'll just explain the detailed ones. I mean, the ones that are really important, I will explain it in detail. So a computer is an electronic device that accepts input, that is data, process the data, right, and generate an output, right? So it receives data, process it, and generate an output. So, and it can store and also retrieve the data. So when you talk about computer, anything that can receive data, process it, and give you a result becomes a computer. So most of the time when we talk about computer, people think it's only the PC in front of us. No, it is your tablet, your phone. They are all computers. They can receive data, process it, and give an output. So they have various types of computers. We have the normal laptop we use, the mainframe. Mainframes are legacy. When you talk about legacy, right, it means that it's not being used, it's phasing out, right? So when you see a mainframe somewhere, company, oh, we're still using a mainframe, tells you that now they are also, it's phasing out, right? So the mainframes are mostly being replaced by servers, the supercomputers, right? So those are the servers are the ones that we find at the data centers. They are huge, huge. So you can see here what you are seeing here, like the black box, is called rack. So they have the servers, they are like flat this size, and they fit into those racks. So this rack that we are seeing over here may be containing like 10 or more servers. Then we have the microcomputers and the normal desktops or phones. So these are all computers. So they can receive an input, process it, and give out an output. And it can also retrieve and store data. So that is a computer. So these computers have applications, right? That processes that are installed on the computer to process those data, right? So without the application, it cannot take the data, process it, and give it out. So we have an application. It's a program designed to perform specific functions directly for the user, or in some cases, for another application or program. So we have word processor, Excel, database, programs, web applications, development tools, drawing, so many of them applications. There are so many applications uses the service of computers operating system and other supporting applications. So you can see application is over here. So we are the users. So there's an application that runs on an operating system, right? So that's my next one talks about operating system. So the operating system creates an interface between the user and the computer hardware, right? You know, computer is made up of various components like a motherboard, there's some chip somewhere, there's this connected. Those are the hardware, right? So that hardware, right, operating system sits on that hardware, or the operating system, if I should say, is installed on the hardware, right? And that the operating system, we have the application sitting on top. Then the users come, just like I showed over here, right? You can see this is the hardware. The hardware is a physical computer with its all components, right? With its all components. Then we have the operating system. So some of us are using Microsoft. Some of us are using Apple. We have the Linux, right? As we go further, you go further into cybersecurity, you understand the Linux and others, right? Android, right? We have the Android operating system. So those are the ones that sit on top of the physical machine that you are seeing. Then we have an application. An application is the one that is running what we are seeing now. You can see your word, or even the web application, like what we are using, WebEx or an application. And we are the end users, the users that we use it. So whenever you hear operating system, like I said, we have Windows, we have Linux, we have Unix, we have Android, we have the Apple, right? These are the operating systems that are installed on a computer, right? So if you buy an Apple computer, it comes with what? iOS, right? Operating system. If you buy a Samsung, it's an Android, right? Then we have Linux and the Windows that we are all familiar with. So now when you see any of these, it shouldn't be new to you, because that is the foundation. Now, we're talking about computer takes an input, that is the data, right? Then process it and generate an output. So what is data? What is this input that we put into a computer, right? So data is sorry, that is an information, right? We put information. So that information is data, right? So what is information there? It's data that is accurate and timely, specific and organized for a purpose, presented within a context that gives meaning and relevance, and can lead to an increase in understanding or decrease in uncertainty, right? So you have data. Now we are in the era of AI, right? There are so many data. So the computer receives those inputs. That is an information. And there are so many that it has to make meaning out of it for us to get an input, output, right? So that information is the data, right? And that data should be accurate and it should be received in a timely manner. And it should have a purpose too as well, because you can't have a data without any purpose, right? And the purpose is either to help you to be able to get some information accurate or to clear some doubt, right? So that is an information for you. Then we have information technology, right? So now we are adding technology to the information. That's why I have IT. So it involves the development, maintenance, and use of the computer's software for processing and distribution of information. So now, remember, we've learned about computer now. We said it's an input, it's a data, right? We've learned about application, which is a software. We have learned about operating system. That is also a software, right? So now, when you put it together, right, we've learned about information, which is, we are saying that it's an information, or information is a data that is processed and presented within a context to help you to understand its issue. So now we're adding technology to it. So technology here is that you are going to use the computer that we talk about, right? The computer that processes and generates an output, right? And you're going to use the software, the operating system, the application, right? Then it will process that data or that information and distribute it. So when we talk about IT, all that we are talking about is that when we use computers, now the computer has a software, that is an application that is installed on it. Then we type in the information. Then the computer is able to read that information that we type in, right? Then generate an output that gives meaning to whatever we put in. Then that is an IT, right? Is the use of computers and software for processing and distribution of information, that is distribution of the data, right? So that as I'm sitting here in my office, right, I'm using computer to generate, right, the data, right? I mean, I'm giving the input, and I'm using a software like WebEx that we are using now, right? And the WebEx is using network to process it and distribute it to you at your home. And you get a data that is information about what I'm presenting, that is meaningful and accurate to you, right? So that is all about IT. So always, whenever you hear IT, think about use of computer, using a computer with its software that is able to use it to distribute information or distribute the data. That's it. That is all IT is about. Right. Now let's move further. Information system. Right? Information system. So a combination of hardware. We know hardware, right? We just talk about computer hardware. Software. That is application and operating system. Right? And infrastructure. Infrastructure is the network, right? The internet, those are the infrastructure. And trained personnel like me to organize, facilitate, plan, control, coordination, and decision making in an organization. So all that is saying is that when you take an information system, right, is the use of people, the processes, that is infrastructure, And the technology, that is the computer itself, the hardware and the software, to distribute that information. That's it. So whenever you hear information system, and I'll be referring to that a lot, information system, information system. So all that in summary, whenever you hear information system, what should come into your mind is that people, process, and technology, right? Information system, the use of hardware, software, infrastructure, and trained people, right? So it is, in short, it's people, process, and technology. So those are the three things. Whenever you hear, anytime you hear information system, it is people, process, and technology. That is PPT. So have that one in mind. Good. Now let's move forward. Now we talk about information, which we said is data, right? Now let's add something to it. Let's add security to it, right? So information security, I have two definitions over here. Refers to the processes and methodologies that are designed and implemented to protect print, electronic, or any other form of confidential, private, and sensitive information or data from unauthorized access, use, misuse, disclosure, destruction, modification, or disruption. So this is Kant's definition. And I have another definition. It says information security is the preservation of confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information, right? We are preserving the confidentiality, the integrity, and availability of information, right? So we talk about data, information, and we added IT to it, right? And the thing is, as those IT, the information technology runs and the information system runs, it has to be secured. We need to secure its integrity. We need to secure its confidentiality. We need to secure its availability, right? So these are the two key definitions over here. So here we are adding security to the information. We are adding how to protect the confidentiality of the information, the integrity of the information, and also the availability of the information. And that leads us to what we call the CIA triad. But in addition to the CIA, right, we have what we call authenticity, accountability, non-repudiation, and reliability, right? So authenticity means the one that the data should be authentic. It has to be accountable, right? Non-repudiation. If somebody misuse the system, the information should be able to, the system should be set in such a way that the person cannot deny, right? It has to be reliable. So ISO, International Standard Organization, came out with this definition, right? So this leads us to the what we call a core security principles. So today's class, at the end of the class, if you've forgotten about everything, remember information system and this one, people, process, technology, and the core security principles. That is the foundation of what? Cyber security or information security. So this, we call it CIA trial. CIA trial, right? Is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? So confidentiality, it means that it ensures that data, that is the information, is available by authorized users. That is measured under, that is measures taken under measures undertaken to prevent sensitive information from reaching the wrong people. Confidentiality, right? So that is information security, the core principle. We are trying to protect the confidentiality. If you look at the definition by the SANS, what I just read, there were two definitions, right? One by SANS and one by ISO. SANS says that we're preventing information from unauthorized access, use, misuse, disclosure, distraction, modification, or disruption, right? So if you are preserving the confidentiality, you are preventing it from unauthorized people. We are preventing unauthorized people to have access to it. So what can you do? Prevent people who do not need to have access to information. You can encrypt data. We'll talk about that. You can set parameters, access control, right? Before people can log into computer, they need what? Username and password. That is access control. That is the logical access control. Before people can enter into the main office or the main building, they must go through the security. They must go through a door. They need a correct key to enter. That is physical access control, right? So we're going to learn more about this later on. Integrity. It involves maintaining the consistency and accuracy and trustworthiness of data over its entire life cycle, right? So you want to make sure your data maintains its integrity. It is not altered. If the life cycle of the data starts with A, by the time it is being decommissioned, it should be A, right? It shouldn't be AB. Somebody shouldn't add anything to it, right? Or make it unreadable, right? So that is integrity. You want to maintain the integrity of the information. The information should be what? It must be authentic. Then availability. Ensure that the data and services are available whenever needed. It's very, very important. You need data to do your work. But whenever you need the data is not available, then there's something wrong, right? It means that you cannot perform your task because the data is not available. It's very, very important. Availability is also important. That is why when you are doing services or you are subscribing to a service, you want a service that can provide you what you call the 99.999, meaning that the service is not, and nothing is 100%, right? But the service interruption should be very, very minimal. It's like Amazon Web Service. When they lose, like the service go outage for like 5 minutes, they are going to lose millions of dollars. So availability is very, very important. So they try to have data backup, disaster recovery site. They have replication somewhere. So if the system fails, they have failover. The system fails at one point, other point will pick it up. So that you wouldn't even see that there is what? A break in services. Right? So availability is also very, very important. So the core security principles are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. These three, the trust is very, very, very important in information security. Good. So let's continue. Information assurance. So information assurance is to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems. See, now we are putting them together, right? Whenever you hear information assurance, it's just like applying the CIA to information system. What is information system? People, process, and technology. So as we go along the way, you're going to learn that as a security analyst, when you are protecting a system, right? Information system, right? Always, whenever you hear information system, whatever should come into your mind is you are protecting the people, the processes, technology, right? So when you take the people, you apply CIA trust, right? As I'm talking to you, I'm even getting an assignment in mind right now. Something came into mind. So I'm going to note it down. It will be your first assignment. It's too early, but I think it's worth knowing, right? And that's going to help do it. So I'm going to draw something like, let's say we have a CIA, right? I'll do a table. It may not be perfect because I'm using my mouse. So we have a table here. Let me put it here, something like this. Okay. Good. So let's have a CIA track. The first one should be confidentiality, C, integrity, and availability. Okay, so let's okay, this is it. So we have people here. I'll put it as P. Process, P, and the last part should be technology, right? And it is, right? So when you are doing an information security, right, you ask yourself, people, when it comes to confidentiality, what can I do to protect people, right? The people's role when it comes to confidentiality. So here you think about confidentiality. It means that if you want people to keep their confidential, what should they do? They should have password, username and password, right? You see, so you can say you need ID. ID protect people's what? Confidential. But username and password, your user credential. Before you log into a system, you need ID. Integrity. How can I protect the integrity of the data here? Right? You do what? Encryption. Can encrypt the data. We will learn about that. This is too early. But I just want to give you an idea. How the CIA is applied to information system. Availability. You want to make sure that the people information is what is always available. So what do you do? Like your personal laptop, what do? You try to back up, right? Do data backup. Very, very important. Data backup is very, very important. So if you're not doing it, always start thinking about that, right? Do data backup. Now let's come to process. How do you ensure confidentiality of the processes, right? So the processes mostly involve the infrastructure and all those things that we use. So make sure that when it comes to confidentiality of infrastructure, you can use encryption.
Encryption.
You can use encryption, right? You can use encryption, right? Integrity, you can still also use encryption, right? Then
Yep.
availability, you can have what? Redundancy, right?
Yeah.
You can have redundancy or you have multiple networks so that if one goes off, other one can pick up, right? So let's say, let me put R here. Let's say it's too early in
Redundancy.
Come again?
Redundancy.
Yeah, very good. So thank you. So I mean, it's too early to bring this in, but I think this is going to give you some pictorial view. That's why I'm bringing this in. Then the technology, how do you ensure, right, the confidentiality of technology, right?
This is a reminder.
You have technology like your computers, the hardware, and all those things that we are using, the software, confidentiality. What do? You make sure that those software is also what? It can be encrypted, right? The software can be encrypted. The software can also be, the confidentiality of a software, make sure that they have a proper key, right? You know, some people are able to break software. So proper keys and to make sure that the hashing. Hashing can also help to keep the confidentiality of the software. The integrity tool can also be hashing, right? For some people, when you develop software, they try to also do the same thing, but the hash, every software that is developed, they develop it hash original to keep it original, right? So if somebody try to create a fake one, the hash will say that no, this is not the real one, right? Then when you talk about the availability, you also want to make sure that this software is patched. Whenever there is a weakness in the software, you patch it. We learn about patching later on, so that the software is always what available. We need like hackers will not be able to break into the software, or maybe some people call it hot fix, right? You fix bugs in the software. So that is how we apply, right? So when you talk about information assurance, we want to make sure that the information, the data is assured, meaning that you are protecting the confidentiality of the people, the processes, and technology so that the information will be available or will be present whenever it's needed. Do we get a concept? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions? Can I go on? Is it clear or I'm confused?
Yes.
It's clear.
Okay. Okay. So somebody is trying to call me and I can't pick it. I can't pick it. Okay. Thank you. So always try to join before the time. Otherwise, when I'm teaching, I cannot pick your call. Thank you. Is there a chat here? Okay. Okay. Then you can put in your questions to in the chat. Okay. So let's go on. Good. What did I do? Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
I think
The PowerPoint went away though.
the PowerPoint went away. Okay. I think I pressed something. Just a second. Give me a second. Let me share my screen again. Where is my PowerPoint? Sorry about that. We're in a different screen. Okay. So let me stop sharing. I have an experience. Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint now? Or you see yourself, right?
We don't see the PowerPoint. We just see your
You don't see
desktop
PowerPoint.
view.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see a PowerPoint yet.
Okay, just a second.
Okay.
This one I want to show PowerPoint. Oh, is it sharing now? Oh, it's still not sharing.
Now we see.
You see participant views.
You see participants view. Okay. Something is hiding somewhere. I think I moved something somewhere. Give me a second. Let me pause the video so that it doesn't record. Let me pause it. Let me figure it out why it is like that. The Not sure why it's like that. I haven't experienced it before. And I don't want to exit too because I'm the one recording. I don't know what will happen if I exit and come in again. Um, options, video. Hmm. Something I think you are sharing your um, please don't do
All
anything.
see.
Come again. Come
Let
again.
me let me unshare.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
looks like someone else is sharing their screen.
yeah,
Yeah, somebody else was sharing.
yeah. Please don't share. Let me be the one. I think I'll check this person.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Yeah, Alex. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was the
Um,
one that called you. That was when I was finding it difficult to join. But
come again.
Okay.
yeah.
Come again, Vincent.
I said I was the one that called when I couldn't join. But I figured it out later.
Okay. This is a different thing. We are having some challenge here.
Yeah, I can see.
I don't know why it is like that. My God.
Uh, it, can we log out and log back in?
No, I don't think that should be the case. Let me see.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Um, you continue to be on it. Let me leave and come back because
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm not ending it, but I'm leaving until I come back and see.
It's showing that
Just,
Phantom screen.
just be on it.
Hello, Charles. Hello, Mr. Charles.
Yes, how
Yeah,
are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, are you here in Houston?
Yes, I am.
Okay, okay.
What's the name?
My name is Vincent.
Oh, Mr. Vincent. Okay, good morning.
Yeah, it's good to see
Are
you.
you
Good morning.
are you in Houston too?
Yeah, I'm here in Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting on, at least.
Oh yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Okay.
Good.
Morning.
Good.
Okay. I'm back now.
Okay.
So let me try again.
Okay.
Um, okay. I think it's working now.
Yes, sir. We can see
Yes,
your
all right.
PowerPoint.
Yes, it's
Okay.
working.
We're back.
I'm in
Okay.
there.
Thank you. Wow. I haven't experienced this before, but anyway, this is technology for you. 100%. That's what we're talking about availability, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I paused the recording, so hopefully it should continue from where I paused it. Yes, we'll continue from there. So it's still recording. Anyway, okay. I thought I paused it, but it's still recording. So
It's all right. It's part of it.
yeah, it's part of it. Yeah, my video is out. Let me show my video. Okay, you can see me now, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Can you see me now?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And sorry about that. Wow. I haven't experienced this before, but anyway, it's part
It's all right.
it's part of it. Okay, so we just finished information assurance. So let's move on. So as part of the ISO definition, they talked about non-repudiation and other things. So there's this also area that is also important, but it doesn't replace the DI that we always try to bring it in. So we call it IAAA, right? Identification, authentication, authorization, and accounting, right? So identification, we're talking about uniquely identifying a person on or a system, right? An information system, if you want to keep the assurance, you need to make sure that whoever uses it is uniquely identified, right? Then also within a system, machines, you need to be able to identify users who are a computer system. Like every system has a MAC ID or a computer has a MAC ID. Every internet has its IP. So that is identification. So that if something happens, you'll be able to know that, okay, this was conducted by Mr. A or Ms. B, right? And this is the MAC, the computer that they use it. So identification, authentication, you should be able to prove who you are, right? So we have type 1, mostly it's something that you know. If you are proving who you are, right? It's something that you know. So it can be your password, your passphrase, or PIN, right? When you want to go to your phone, what do? You put pins on it, right? So you something that you know. You can use your PIN to enter your phone. Then we can also use type 2, something you have, right? It can be an ID, right? You can use your ID to authenticate yourself. You go to some place, they said, hey, can you show who you are? You can present your driver's license. You can present your passport to know that this is me, right? Or it can be a smart card or a token. Then type 3 is something you are. This is something that is part of you, fingerprinting, right? Iris scan, facial recognition. That is something you are. So we have something you know, something you have, or something you are. Those are the 3 forms of authentication to authenticate you, right? To confirm that you are who you are, right? So these are the 3 things that we look at. Then we have authorization, right? So adding or denying individual user access to a system, user may be given different authorization, right, levels. So we can have role-based access control. When you see RBAC, role-based access control. So let's say your work is as a nurse and somebody is a doctor, right? You try to put people in their role. Somebody's role is a manager. Somebody's role is an analyst. We put people in roles, right? Then we have rule-based access control. Rule-based is mostly has association with the firewall. We'll learn about that firewall later, right? So you set rules that these are the traffic that I want it to come to my network, or this is the type of information that I want it to come to people's Gmail or email. So those are the rule-based. Then accounting, auditing, record keeping, and tracking of user activity. So every time people use this computer, it keeps track of them, right? Don't ever think that, oh, if I delete, that is it. No. The computer keeps records, right? What is called logs. Logs, L-O-G, or L-O-G-S. That is why those of us that we are working in a corporate environment, anytime you log into a computer, it tells you this is a private company or company's property. Everything that you do, you have is being monitored. You have no privacy, right? Yes, the computer keeps record, right? So that is accounting. So that if something happens, they can go back and check who did that, who did what, and correct it, or maybe get more information for an investigation. So this is the IAA for you. Now, let's talk about the buzzword, cybersecurity. Right? Everybody say, I want to be a cybersecurity. I want to do cyber. And a lot of people that call me, so I want to do your cybersecurity class. And we actually use it as a buzzword to catch people's attention. Because that's what we know. So when you talk about cyber, is a term that relates to the internet, right? Cyber relates to what? Internet. Then we have cyberspace. It includes information itself, information infrastructure, that includes the internet, the embedded software, firmware, communication protocols, non-information assets, which are physically connected to the internet, right? So when you talk about cyberspace, anything that you can connect to the internet that can communicate, that can connect one way or the other, or communicate to other, it becomes what? A cyberspace. Then the cyber security is about protecting all things that are vulnerable through information and communication technology, such as internet. So can you see a repetition of something? First, I think I'm getting a little bit of noise from your background, so that's why I'm using here. Thank you. Right. Can you see some repetitions here? Some key things keep repeating from these three statements or these 3 points that I have here. Can somebody see that?
Cyber.
Cyber, yeah, cyber is repeating, but there's one thing.
Internet.
Internet, very good. So whenever you hear cyber, all that you should think about is internet. Cyber is internet, right? Good. So let's go on. Cyber security versus information security, right? So we have cyber security that we are saying that it things other than information, right? And information security is also encompasses what? Non-digital or non-connected information. But the meeting point is the connected digital information. So in other words, the connectedness, that is the internet in cybersecurity, differentiates information security, right? So when you talk about cybersecurity, the interest is to put things that are connected to the internet. And the question is, if the thing is not connected to the internet, does it mean that you shouldn't protect it? You should protect it as well. So that is where information security comes in. So information security broadly covers information regardless of its format or connectedness. So now those of you that I talked to, I said this class is about information security, right? But not cyber security specific. But if you do information security, you do a little bit of cyber security, or cyber security is under the information security, because you are having the knowledge to protect things that are not also connected to the internet and things that are connected to what? Internet. Do we get it? So information security is broadly covers all information regardless of its format or connectedness. So information security is what? It's huge. It's very huge. So I prefer being an information security analyst than being a cyber security analyst, because cyber security analysts, they are restricted. In fact, I've worked with a lot of cyber security analysts, and you ask them certain things, they're like, I don't know. All that they know is like just things that are hooked to the internet, the firewall, the traffic, and all that they know. But they don't know about the other side, the compliance aspect, the risk management aspect, right? And protecting things that are not connected to the internet. So that is why we all strive to be an information security people. Now let's look at cyber security and computer security. So computer security providing security for devices not connected in cyberspace, right? Example, installing antivirus on your PC. That is a computer security, right? And then this story of Subnet. Who has heard about Subnet malware before? I know we have some information technology before online. Maybe some of you might have heard about Subnet. So the Subnet is a malware developed by Americans and Israelites. And some time ago, Iranians were developing a nuclear uranium, right? It's a Iran, sorry. They were developing a nuclear weapon. So, and the whole world was against it, right? I remember those days I was young, and I heard that they were going to release that nuclear weapon and to destroy the whole world. So the whole world was against it. And they were so smart that when the area that they were developing this this enrichment facility or that nuclear weapon, they disconnected everything from the internet. Internet is the world www, right? So it means that whenever you connected to the internet, whoever is anywhere, they can have access to it. So what they did was that they did everything intranet. It is just only within that facility. Nobody can, the servers were not communicating with outside world. Everything was within. So it was very difficult for the cyber experts to go into that to their network. So this is what they did. They developed a softnet, and they put those softnets on flash drives. Those were the period that the flash drives was coming up, right? Flash drives wasn't common. So they developed a softnet malware, right, the virus, and put it on the softnet. Then they flew on top of the plant and dropped those flash drives around. So, those were the days that flash drive was coming. So people were curious, the workers. So when they saw the flash drive, oh, what is this about? What is this about? What is it about? Then they went to what? Out of curiosity, they inserted the flash drive in the computer. So the centrifuge is set to run at a certain speed, but the softnet made the centrifuge the spinning more function. So when they inserted those flash drives in the computer, it made it spin faster than the normal, and they couldn't stop it. And that was it. They shut that nuclear weapon down. So there it aroused that interest. Oh, really? Even if computer is still not connected to the internet, we still need to protect it. That is where the issue of antivirus started coming in, right? So computer security is more about protecting devices or computers that are not connected to the internet. The fact that they are not connected to the internet doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect it. You need to protect them, either physically locking them or making sure that you have antivirus on them. Good. So that is a story about Subnet. Let's move on. IT security, right? IT security is operational and technical driven objectives. When you talk about IT security, right? The assets in IT system is a combination of assets covered by computer security, information security, and cyber security, right? So in other words, IT security is equal to computer security, information security, and cyber security. That is filtered, right, through an operational lens. What does that mean? Operational lens is more like being technical. So now IT security is talking about, okay, you are securing information technology, right? But in this case, you are concentrating more on using technology to protect those areas, right? So when you come to IT security, mostly we look at firewalls, antivirus, vulnerability scan, penetration testing, intrusion detection, forensic. Those are technical lens, right? But information security is more about protecting intellectual property, regulatory compliance. You're going to learn about FISMA. We're going to learn about HIPAA. We'll learn about PCI, high trust, ISO, right? So insider abuse, espionage, data privacy, governance, those areas are information security, right? So we are not going to look at the technical lens, right? Because if you go into that, people are going to stop the class. Because some of us, we don't have any technical experience from the beginning. So we are going to concentrate on information security. What can we do to protect intellectual property? What can we do to prevent insider abuse? Right? What can we do to make sure that there is a risk management or perform security risk assessment? Are we complying with the regulations? Right? That is what our class is mostly going to cover. Right? So we are not going to look at the technical lens, so don't be afraid. Good. So information privacy. We don't do privacy. Most of the time, this privacy is handled by the legal team or the lawyer, right? But it's good we have some knowledge about it because we work closely with them, right? Anytime we are working on an issue that involves any legal contract review, service level agreement, we leave it to the legal team for them to advise us. We don't advise legal. So if privacy is the right to have some control over your own personal information. So later on, we'll learn about GDPR or European law to protect European citizens' privacy. There's a CCPA to protect California consumers. So we'll learn about that. Because we are not being private. So privacy includes collection of personal information, what can be collected and how it should be collected, who can have access to them, how to access them, who should you disclose to, and who have the authority or authorization to see, or so that is privacy. They deal with that. So like you can walk into your hospital and say, I need my medical record. They'll give it to you. But I cannot walk into hospital and say, give me the medical records of Abby. No, they can't because it's Abby's private, right? Oh, okay. And Ivy asked questions. He said, I mentioned your name and you just asked questions. He said, he's asking what is the difference between privacy. How is information privacy different from data protection? So privacy is about you having the right, okay, right over your data. So maybe you go to a shop, let's say you go to a website and you'll be shopping over there. They have all the details about you. One day you can just wake up and say, Amazon, I don't want you to have anything about me anymore. Delete all my information, and they need to comply. That is privacy, right? Then the data protection aspect is what organizations put in place, right, to protect that data from getting breached, so that no unauthorized person can have access to that data. That is the two difference. You got it, Abby? Right. So one is it's your privacy. You can go and ask them to delete. One is the obligation of the company to make sure that data that is extracted them is protected and secure from unauthorized access. Thank you. So information security is centered around confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And it's about protecting all information, including Now, business, public information, and the systems that collect, process, and store them, right? Just like CIA, two information systems, right? That is the foundation of IT security. Good. Now, let's look at common security attacks. As we are going into security, some of these systems are very, very important to us. So we need to know them, right? It's very, very common that is happening. So the first one is denial of service attack. We call it DOS. You'll be hearing this in the course of the training when you're talking about vulnerabilities and attacks, right? So the DOS attack is an attempt to make machine or network resource unavailable to those attempting to reach it, right? So let's say I have subscribed to WebEx, and that is what we are using for the class, right? Then one way or the other, somebody is annoyed with WebEx or Cisco, and they send so many traffic to Cisco WebEx, such that we, those that are legitimate users, we have paid for it, we can't have access to it. That is denial of service, right? Like we have paid for the service, we are entitled to use it. But because somebody is annoying with Cisco, they send so much traffic to Cisco such that the system becomes not available to us to use. And it is a form of an attack that hackers use, right? So if hackers are not happy with you, or maybe you have done something against them, they are not happy, they can cause your system not to be available for your legitimate users, right? Can you imagine somebody try to send so many traffic to Amazon Web Service such that you go there, you want to buy something and it's not going through? It's inconvenient. That is an attack. Then we have distributed denial of service attack. Multitude systems attack a single target, thereby causing denial of service for users of a targeted system. So let's say a system is identified to be vulnerable, and hackers from different angles notice that no, there is this vulnerability on this system, and they all start sending traffic there, right? They all started sending traffic. The number of service attack first one can be done by one person, but a distributed denial is like different attacks from different sources, sending traffic to only one system, such that it will make it what unresponsive to legitimate users. Then we have spear phishing. You know spear, right? The olden days, the spear, they used spear to fight. Like a javelin, they would just throw, right? So we have a phishing called spear phishing. So spear phishing is an email spoofing fraud attempt that targets specific organizations seeking unauthorized access to confidential data. So here, most of the time, the normal phishing, they send it to everybody, just to like a fisherman trying to cast a net, right? So very good. So spear phishing is like throwing the how do you call it? The fishing hook, right? That most of the time when you throw it, it catches only one fish, right? Something like that. So here, spear phishing is target one organization, then they send phishing like phishing are like emails that they look legitimate, but they are not real. The key thing is to what? Allure you to give out your credentials so that it can come into your network. So let me jump from social engineering to phishing. So phishing is an attempt to acquire sensitive information such as username, password, credit card details, and sometimes money, often for malicious reasons, by masquerading as trustworthy entity in an electronic communication, right? And some of us, we do fall for it. Oh, the Amazon is celebrating 25th anniversary. click this link to get an offer. And when we see we are happy, then we just click on it. Those are phishing emails. EVS is giving out this price. When you see those emails, don't click on them. When you see those WhatsApp text messages, don't click on them. They are phishing. When you click on them, they have access to your phone. Majority of us have made that mistake, and people are even monitoring our phone. They have access to our phone. That is phishing. So they masquerade. When you see masquerading, they cover their face, right, and pretend to be legitimate, legit. So, and if you are not careful, you click on them, they get you. And it's happening in most organizations, right? People try to send fish emails to workers, and they don't read it, don't check without the source of it. They click on the link, and they give out their credentials, and people are able to come into that environment and steal their data. Social engineering, we call it con game, right? These people are very crafty hackers. They are very, very crafty, right? So, for example, call an employee with some kind of urgent problem and requires immediate network access. So somebody like, they'll call you and they pretend to be maybe the manager or the CIO. I'm in France. I'm in trouble. Can you? I can't log into the system. Can you give me your credential? I need to do something urgent for the organization. If I don't do it, there's going to be a consequence. I can't log in. Can you give me your credentials so that I log in and do the work? Those are content, right? When you see such calls, just cut the line. Don't listen to them, right? So these are some of the attacks that are happening every day on our environment. Impersonation attacks, right? Just like the name sounds, impersonation. People pretending, right? It's an attack in which adversaries essentially assume the identity of a legitimate party in a system or communication protocol. So they pretend to be you. So like they study your footprint, they study everything. Then they present you. They will present themselves to somebody that you know. I see, and so the person is communicating with you. They think, oh, they are communicating with you. Meanwhile, somebody is impersonating you. So it also happens. Then man in the middle attack, we call it MTT, right? Man in the middle, MTTA, man in the middle attack. So the attacker makes independent connection with the victim and relays message between them, making them believe that they are talking directly to the other or a private connection, right? So man in the middle attack, so mostly if hackers are able to hack into your system and your communication is not encrypted, right? So let's say that I am communicating with, let's say, with Zulu, right? And there's a man in the middle attack, right? So when I said hello, Zulu, it doesn't go to Zulu. The man in the middle intercepts the message, then reply to me, hello, Alex, right? Then I will say, oh, do you remember the issue that we're talking about? Then the man will relay the issue to Zulu, like he'll be in the middle. Then when you'll be communicating back and forth, when he sees the confidential information that he's looking for, he just grab it and leave, right? So always very important that you communicate through an encrypted channel, right? Or when you are buying something online, make sure you check whether that network is encrypted. Spoofing is when malicious party impersonate another device. So this time it's at a device. They are impersonating a device or a user on a network in order to launch attacks against a network host, steal data, or spread malware by bypassing access control, right? So somebody, malicious person impersonates another or a network right? It's happening. So sometimes people try to spoof your DNS, right? Intechlogic.com, right? Instead of Intechlogic, maybe they will make it Intech. Then they'll move something from it. Then they will use it to spoof somebody, to attack somebody. So when an attack happens, you may think, oh, it's Intechlogic that attacked me. But meanwhile, when they go deep into the system, they're going to know that, it's not them. Somebody rather impersonated their domain or their IP to attack somebody else. And it happened. There's a book called The Lure, right? The Lure. It happened in the 90s, right? Some Russians tried to steal some ISPs in US here. It's a huge book. Sometimes somebody sends me the stuff. I have it over here. Somebody sends me some stuff. The key thing is that they were using spoofing attacks. They attacked a company, then they route through them to attack and steal some people. So you wouldn't even know them that it was this. So when you do investigation, you say, it was this company that they came to my environment, not knowing that company was even attacked, or maybe they were just used. They used them as a medium to attack others. So that is some of the attacks that are happening. SQL injection, right? It's a code injection technique used to attack data-driven applications in which malicious SQL statements are inserted into an entry field for execution. This is mostly database attack, right? So databases are the area that when you store on a server, it goes, when you store data, it goes and stores, right? So they have some code and commands, right, that help them to manage the database. I'm not a database expert, but some people are able to develop some fictitious code that when they enter into a computer, it gives out the database response and gives out information, right? So later on, like they notice all these problems. That is why when you enter some data, sometimes when you enter some data into a system that is error, you get it wrong, it gives you 404. Have you noticed the 404? 404 means an error, right? So that it doesn't give out that information that, it should have been there. Those of us that we've been using computers for a long time ago. Some time ago, when you try to reset your password, username and password, and you get it wrong, and you ask them to send it back to you, they will send the actual password and the username to your email. But now it's not like that anymore, right? So that is SQL injection. It has to do with database. Then cross-site scripting is a 3D exploit in which the attacker inserts malicious coding into a link that appears to be from a trustworthy source. When someone clicks on a link, the embedded programming is submitted as part of the client web request and can execute on user's computer, typically allowing attackers to steal information. So cross-site scripting is mostly it redirects traffic. Let's say you're going to a legitimate website to buy your shopping or to do shopping, but because your website or your web or your computer has been attacked, right? When you put in that, like maybe www.amazon.com, and you click on Amazon, it redirects you to a different website that appears so legitimate. So if you don't really look at it very well, you may end up putting in your data, and the attacker will steal your information. So that is cross-site scripting. Now let's look at malware. Malware. So malware is any software used to disrupt computer operations, gather sensitive information, or gain access to private computer systems Whenever you hear malware, right? It is a software that can be used to disrupt your operation or operating system or gather sensitive information. So, for example, is an hardware. So hardware most of the time they make it so nuisance, like they are trying to do your legitimate work, then adverts coming on your computer and making it so uncomfortable to work, right? Always you have to play the advert before you can go on. Hardware. So they spies on you and track your internet activity. So hackers or bad people can install spyware on your PC. Everything that you do, they spy on you and they track your activity. So that is a spyware. We also have virus, right? They reproduce itself when the software is running or it's run. So anytime you run a software, let's say you have installed a software, maybe your children have installed games, right? Those of us that we give our phones to our children to what? Play games. And they are so smart that any game that they see, they just try to what? Install them, right? Some of these games comes with viruses, right? So anytime they open the game, then the virus begins to run, scanning through your system, picking out your information. Then we have Word, a program that replicates itself and destroys data and files on the computer. The software does not need to run. This is dangerous. So if your computer is infected with Word, right, you don't need the software to run. As your computer is sitting down, the worms are working and they are destroying your data. Then Trojan is the most dangerous one. This is to discover financial information. It looks for a legitimate program. I mean, it looks like legitimate programs. So Trojans are very dangerous. When your PC or your phone is infected with Trojans, all that they're after is your financial information. They're after your financial information. And they look so legit that you didn't even see that this is a Trojan. Keylogger. Record everything you type on your PC. Hackers mostly use this one too as well, right? They install keyloggers on your PC, and when they install that on your PC, anytime you type, they can see every key that you strike, So if you are going to your Bank of America, right, you put in your username, they see the key you type. So it's like it's playing back to them. They can see everything in reality, right? Then ransomware. They take control over system and demand ransom in the form of Bitcoin, right? So if your hackers take over your system, right? They install a ransom on it, ransomware. They will encrypt all your system, and they will request that, look, if you don't pay this so amount of money, I'm not going to release it. And that is what is happening to most companies, right? So if you don't protect your system and a hacker breaks into it, they will encrypt your system and they will ask you to pay a ransom before they release data to you. So antivirus is very, very important. Some people think, oh, there's no need to have an antivirus. Antivirus is good, right? So it's good to have an antivirus. So it's a software. So antivirus software is a class of program that will prevent, detect, remediate malware infections on individual computing devices and IT systems. So it can be a host or network based. So most of the time when you say it's a host based, right, the antivirus is installed on the PC. But if it's a network based, stored on the network, right? So it's very, very important. So those of us that we don't have antivirus, I know Microsoft, the expert here can correct me if I'm wrong. Microsoft I think Windows 10 or Windows 11 comes with Microsoft Defender. So if you have that one, you don't even have antivirus. That is also okay because it comes with its own antivirus. So it's really, really important to have an antivirus. Good. Now, let's finish up with some security rules, right? You're going to work with people. You're not going to work in an isolation, right? And as we are learning to become information security analysts, we need to be able to know some of these rules. So when you go for an interview or you're working with people and the person tells you, I'm an ISSO, I'm a system owner, I'm this, I'm that, you'll be able to relate to who the person is. Good. So we have information system owner. So the question is, what is an information system? Yes, can somebody tell me what an information system is?
People, processes, and technology.
Thank you. Right. So information system owner is what? The person who owns the people, the process, and the technology. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sabria. Right. That is right. So he owns people, the process, and technology for a particular system. A system has only one owner. So you are going to learn about information system, right? In a federal environment, let's say a system that processes benefits, right? There needs to be somebody who owns that system. Means that that person has oversight over the people that should have access to that system. That person has oversight about the process, then also the technology to protect that system. Right? He can say that give Mr. A access, give Miss A B access. Right? Remove access from Miss A, remove access from Mr. B. The information system owner has the right. Right? So that the system belongs to that person. He has the control, right? So we work with people. So when you're working, so this person is an information system owner, then you know that that person has control over the system.
Control access.
Again, person, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was saying is to have the control access.
Yeah.
On
So the information
the
system
network.
owner has control access, and he determines the level of access, who should have access to what, right? And he can say that give clear full access of the system, right? Give Bill only read only. Give this upload only, something like that. So the owner has that control. Then we have information owner. Information owner, right? The person, the information owner, or he owns the information or data within the information system. An information system can have multiple information owners, right? So like I talk about a system that processes benefits, right? That is a system, okay? But within that system, it can have multiple of what? Information. It can have information about maybe veterans. It can have information about the workers. It can have about information about the type of benefit, right? So information owner here can be like, okay, my information is about a type of benefit that is hosted on this system. I own the benefit information. So anybody that needs access to benefit information, you have to come to me. Information system owner cannot give you access to that particular information, right? You get it? So that information system can have multiple information owners, meaning that system can host so many different information. Some of them can be hosting financial data of the company, like people's salary. So HR owns it, right? Maybe compensation. A different team owns it. So that is what an information owner is. The owner owns the information, right? But not the system. A system also has its own. The system is a bigger one, right? The system has its own owner, but the particular information, little bit of information that is hosted within the system can be owned by different owners. Then we have information system security officer. Ensure information systems are secured, controls are implemented, and tested for effectiveness, right? So if you are information system, some of you can get, I've had students that got this job straight. It's more like a manager role. Information system security officers, your role is to make sure that whatever system, so you work with a system owner, and they say you are the ISSO, you have to make sure that the system is secure. And we'll learn about the process to secure an information, probably we start next week. Yeah. Then we have data custodian, right? Manages or maintains the information on behalf of the information owner, right? So I talk about information about maybe benefit or something like that. So they have somebody who is a data custodian. That person's role is to make sure that that data, right, is well managed within the system. Then we have authorized officials. These are big shots. It can be CIO, CISO. They make sure that systems are authorized to run within an organization, right? You cannot just get up and say, okay, I want to buy this, especially with the federal environment, and start using it. No, you have to go through a process. Then the authorized official will put their stamp on it. Okay, I agree. Based on the processes that you have followed, everything looks good. You can go ahead. And we're going to learn that process before they can append their signature or accept the risk for the application to run. We have a chief information officer. They manage the entire agency's IT resources, right? The big position, very, very big position. CIO, that is my prayer for some of us, some years to come, right? You become a CIO, and they get good money. They are the people getting 300 and 400 annual. They pay them very well. Yeah. Then we have system administrators. They do the day-to-day management of the system, right? Patching the system. Whenever they see a weakness, they patch it, making sure it is secure, it is going through the right protocol, communications, the right people are accessing it, it's placed in the right place, right environment. They are the system administrators. Then we have system developers, right? Some of you may be working with system developers. They build applications and they write code, right? So when you hear, oh, this person is a system developer, their work is to develop and write code. We also have system engineers. They manage servers, right? I talked about the supercomputer. They are the servers that is within the data center. So their work is to manage those servers, making sure it is running very well, it's well arranged, and the communication is going through the right channel. Network engineers, they manage the network, the routers, the switches, the Wi-Fi, right, within the company. It is network engineers. These are people that we also work with. Help desk. So some things they call them service desk or yeah. So whenever you have an issue with your laptop or your computer or you want a troubleshooting, right? the help desk people are the people, the first line that you call on to help, right? Then we also have CISO, right? CISO, CISO, or Chief Information Security Officer, also another big position, right? They are responsible for the security of the agency or an organization. It's also a big position, right? And most of the time, the ISSO, who is the manager, reports to the CISO, right? So they report to the CISO. So it's a big position. So as security analyst, you may not be working directly with the CISO. You may report to a manager or ISSO. CISO is a big position. Then we have IT security analyst or information security analyst. That is what we are being trained to be, right? To start from, right? Our role is to analyze and assess vulnerabilities in the infrastructure, right? That is the software, the hardware, the network, or audit system for compliance report. I mean, we report to the CISO or ISSO depending on the company. If it's a small company, then probably report to the CISO. But majority of analysts will report to the manager or the ISSO, right? So that is what we are being trained. Our work is we are going to analyze the system. Okay, what are the vulnerabilities? What are the threats? Right? What assets are we trying to protect? We do that, and that is what we are going to learn. Then after we make our recommendations and give it to the manager. Program managers, they manage projects, several projects that are dependent on each other. So we may work with project managers, and they are more like coordinating and managing projects. They also have project manager, they mostly manage a project, right, under a program. So project is just like one portion. A program has many, many projects underneath. So these are some of the people that we'll be working with. So this is just a introduction for the key thing for today's class was to have a fair overview, right, about the concept of information security. One, we started with knowing what a computer is, knowing different types of computers, knowing operating systems, knowing applications. Also, we learn about information. We learn about information technology, information assurance. We also learn about the trials. We know about information. We learn about information systems, right? Also learn about the various type of malware, right? Malware that can affect us. Then some common attacks. Then we finish up with some some roles within the organization, the people that we are going to work with. So this is just an intro. And like every class, we're going to build on what we started, right? We're going to build on it. Then we're trying to lay the foundation for everybody to have a fair concept so that when we are going through the main work, and I mentioned some terms like information system, you don't say, what is Alex talking about? I talk about CIA trust, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. You will not say, what is Alex talking about? So this is the foundation of which we are going to build on. I'll pause here and open the floor for questions. If you have any questions, you can use the hand raise button to raise your hand, or you can just unmute your mic and ask your question. Thank you.
Hi, Alex.
Hello, Ali.
Hi, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you are. I thank you for the nice introduction. I just had a question with regards to the assignments that you'll be allocating. How often are the assignments? Are they weekly assignments or bi-weekly?
Oh, okay. So most of the time, the assignment is after every presentation, depending on what we are creating, right? Like what we did today is more like informational to give you the foundation, right? But when we start the actual work, like federal environment. We will learn how to do categorization, how you select controls. So after I will give you, we'll go through the class, we'll give about 2 or 3 examples at the class. First, I'll present the theory, explain it into details, practice how it is done in a class. Then I'll give you some samples for you to also practice on your own, right? So that is how we'll be doing. So it depends. Most of it could be just presenting and explaining into details. Then after, I'll give you something for you to practice on. So it depends.
Depends. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions for me?
Just thank you for the information. It was very helpful.
Thank you, Franklin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we don't have any more information or questions to ask, we'll end for this morning. The next class is going to be Wednesday evening. That is going to be 7 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern. Then I have somebody in Seattle, so that is going to be like 5 p.m. John, correct me. John.
That's correct, 5 p.m.
Okay, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So, and we're going to finish up with some of the definition and some of the key terms. Then after we zoom into the main work, how the security analysis, the things that we do, and how we do that. So thank you very much. And those of you who haven't been able to make any commitment, I'm sorry to say that it's good you have some basic knowledge about information security, right? So if I don't invite you, it's not a deliberate thing because I'm only going with people that make commitment. So I thank you and thank you everybody who make a commitment, and I look forward to having a nice time with you. And I trust me, it's a very exciting training, and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn.
Hello?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah, I just want to ask, the recording, are you going to post it for revision? Okay.
Very good. So after every class, it takes about 30 minutes for the video to be ready. As soon as it's ready, I'll send it to you. So all the classes that we are going to have, you have the recording. And I keep the recording online for a minimum of 6 months. Sometimes it goes up to 1 year. So anytime you want to go back to refresh your memory, the videos are there. And I'll be giving you training manuals, right? I'm going to give you a lot of manuals and a slide. So for Wednesday's class, expect the invite and the manual on Monday evening. At least you have like Tuesday to just look at it. You want to just read it before a class, right? Then for Saturday's class, I send the invite and the training manual by Thursday night, right? So if you don't get it by any of these times, please reach out to me. You can text me and I'll call you quickly if I'm free, right? Good. So thank you so much. I'll leave you to have. Yes,
yes, Alex. I know you said you're going to send the videos, which would be wonderful. But I'm just trying to find out if there's a way I can create a portal. Because if you send an email with the videos, and next time you send an email, it becomes cumbersome. So if there's like a portal where if you send this email, so that whenever I go to that portal, I can always download each of the classes instead of every email, and then it's like for me to look at the one class, I have to go to check the email again.
Good.
Really forget the point I'm making.
Let me show you another trick. Are you using Gmail or Yahoo?
Yahoo.
I think Yahoo can also do that, right? Let me show you something.
Okay.
Okay, I think this is important, so let me still keep on recording. I'm going to share my screen, right? I'm going to share with my Yahoo. I think I have email thing. Okay, it should be here. Just a second. Okay, I'm showing my screen. So this is my Gmail, right?
Okay.
If you go to your Yahoo, your inbox, you can create. You can create. How do you call it? You can create labels like this label. When you click on a plus, right? You can just name it. Let's say information infosec training, right?
Where do you say we click to do that?
Yeah. When you click on the plus, I think Yahoo also has it. I used to use Yahoo. It has it. Just look for infosec training. Then you can just leave it as it is. Then just create, right? So it becomes a label here. You see the label?
Okay.
So you have a label here. So all that you do is that you can go into your inbox, right? You can go into your inbox. Then the emails that you got from me, like Intech Logic, right? When you click on that, right, you can either come to this small thing over here, right? Then you can say that you can type the title Intech Logic to that label that you created. Then you just hit fetch. All the emails that come from me, from Intech Logic, will go straight to that. Simple as that.
Okay, I will try it. If we have run into any problem doing that, I'll get back to you.
No problem. So you can do that, like emails from Intech. You can just say Intech Logic Global, right? Then to what? Infosec.
Okay.
No, I think no. Sorry, I think it's not two. Let me see. There should be a way here greater than this logic. Okay, sorry. You create a filter, right? Good. So you create a filter, then apply the label. You see, apply to this label. The label you see, the infosec is here. Then you just say create a filter, and that's it, right? So all the emails, right now, I've created one for my personal one. So those ones will come in here, right? Or there's another way. I think you can just right click, where the intake level, I think it's gone, right? So there's a way to do it. Just right click, then you can say, I think forward or move. Very good. It's easier that way. When you click, say move to the input, right? And it goes straight. It goes straight to, so all the emails that you get will be coming here, right? So as soon as the email comes from me, Intech Logic, right? You just have to come here. Let's say it is this particular one. Let's say which one should I say? This is a different one. Okay, this one, right? It's about a class, right? Don't open it. Just right click, then say move. Come to move to, right? Then you can see all those labels. So I have a label for Cash App, Docker, Indeed, Malaria, a whole lot of folders that I have. Then you can say move to. It's easy. So all the time you have your training materials in that particular folder. Very easy and straightforward. You don't need to create one app for it. Okay, so this is just a small tip. So
All right.
yes, sir.
Hi, can I throw in a suggestion?
Please go
Well,
ahead.
if the concern is flooded your personal email, it's also advisable to create a special secondary email purposely just for this class, and you can give it to Alex. So all the interlogic email goes to that. You're not going to have difficulties with flooding.
That's
So
true.
it's always good
Yeah,
to get a secondary email too.
that is very true. I think I have a lady here. She did the same thing. She created a new Gmail for the class, right? And she sent that one to me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that one too is another time. But always remember do remember you keep your password, right? But if you still want to keep it in this is another strategy you can use. Good. So thank you so much for today, and I will send you the video as soon as it drops. So nice meeting you and see you on Wednesday. Hopefully I'll see everybody on Wednesday. Have a
Okay.
good day.
Thank you.
Thank
Miss.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
All right.
you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Mr.
Thank
L.
you. Good day.
There's parking at the door, right? There's a door at the parking, right? Get to the front. I'll open.